the Johnston County Board of Commissioners to order. Welcome all of you who are here in person. Good to see you, and also welcome those who are watching on our live stream on YouTube. I did want to open up and just say that this morning we opened with an invocation and a pledge, so we will not do that again, but we did that this morning. And again, tonight is heavy into one of our 6 priorities, the land use portion, but the other 5 I did want to mention: educational funding, infrastructure, financial stewardship, public safety, and our county employees. With that, I do have a quick announcement. We had to vote for members of the Johnston County Planning Board, and I do want to announce that Debbie Howard, Tim Little, Freddie Hudson were reappointed, and Susan Weaver Ford was also appointed. So those are the 4 appointees to the Planning Board. And that moves on to the first item, which is the approval or discussion of the agenda. Are there any items that we need to move or do anything with?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda with the exception of case number 24-33, and that item will be tabled to the March 3rd, 6 p.m. meeting.
Okay. And that is the Cattail Family LLC, if y'all are here for that one, 2433. All right. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The agenda is approved. Next up, we have public comment. This is an opportunity for any member of the board to come forward and address the board on an item that is not on tonight's agenda. You will have 3 minutes in which to speak. And if you would, just remember to maintain proper decorum and make your comments in a civil manner. And again, as always, this is an opportunity for the board to listen to concerns. It is not an opportunity to engage in discussion and debate on issues. So if you are here to speak, if you would come forward and state your name and town or township that you're from. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Beverly Withrow. I'm from Clayton, and I'm here tonight just to make you aware of my concerns regarding the tax reassessment. Each one of you have got, I think it's a folder that I accidentally poured my water bottle on before I got here. But I wanted to tell you that when I got my tax reassessment, first of all, I'm a widow and I'm on a fixed income, and I'm also 87 years old, and I realized the big jump in my tax assessment from before. It was almost 43%. And the thing that concerned me the most, I think I know you.
You do.
I think you used to be my neighbor, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
My husband used to be on
On the town
Princeton
board.
Town
With
Commission
him.
until he died. We
Yep.
moved and he died. But anyway,
Was he a good neighbor?
very good neighbor. And I'm trying to think. And he also had a dog.
Yep.
What I remember, the dog got out of your fence one
Yep,
time.
that's
You
right.
were gone.
Yep.
So my husband and I went hunting for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we found it or not.
And his name was
But
Larry.
at any rate, I wanted the tax reassessment for my property was over 40%. In the area that I live, there are 3 homes that are identical in Flowers, and the 3 homes are identical in the time they were built, in the construction, in the amount of square feet, in the amount of acreage. They're just identical and within a mile from each other. So all of the things that you think about when you think about tax assessment are identical, except maybe the paint on the wall. But their tax reassessment was one was $346,000, the other one was $342,000, and mine was $488,000. And there are no differences except the colors on the wall. So that was really all I came for, to make you aware that I'm concerned, and I've done the proper paperwork to send it to the tax assessment office. That had to be done before February 10th. But anyway, I just wanted to come and make you aware of the inequities in 3 houses that are identical. and over $100,000 difference in the tax reassessment. Thank you for your time.
All right, and thank you for coming.
It's good
Thank
to see
you.
you,
Good to
Mike.
see you.
I kept looking and I thought, I know that.
That's
Congratulations. And
Thank
you
you.
know what? Thank you for all you do for the county. I know only a little bit from my husband's experience in Princeton of what you guys do, so thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? And Madam Clerk, any emails? Okay. All right, then we will move on to the next item, which is the public hearings, rezoning, conditional use permits, and special use permits. And we will open with case 1604 modification. I will open the special use hearing and call on the clerk to swear anyone wishing to speak to be sworn in.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give before this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, Mr. Newton, if you would present us with the case background.
Sir, good evening. So case 16-04 is a modification, request for modification to an existing special use permit for property located at 4407 Bizzle Grove Church Road in the Boone Hill Township. From the current zoning is agricultural residential special use district. Owner is Carolina, listed as Carolina Power and Light, which we know now is Duke Energy Progress, and the applicant is Tower Engineering Professionals on behalf of Duke Energy. This special use request involves adding a communications tower to that existing special use permit. The communication tower proposed is 120 feet, 124 feet with a 4-foot lightning rod on the tower. Our consultant Cityscape has reviewed the tower application, as with all telecommunications towers, and has found that application sufficient and in accordance with county ordinances related to telecommunications towers. You will find in the staff report, at the end of the staff report, the special use conditions. Once again, it's going to mimic those that are in the existing special use permit, as well as adding the telecommunications tower as a use. And in addition to that, staff would like to propose to add, and you'll see a memo there at your seat, to item number 3, the applicant requests relief from co-location requirements from Johnston County Land Development Code Section 14-257O. Purpose here, we require that with typical telecommunications towers, which are those for commercial use, meaning your cell phones, we do require that there be the tower to be designed to accommodate additional co-locations. In this particular situation, Duke Energy is proposing and is limiting the use of this tower for their internal communications. Once again, this tower is located at a substation site of Duke Energy's, and as it is intended for internal use for Duke Energy corporate and operations, staff has no issues with giving them relief to the co-location requirement. So that would be a proposal from staff to add that item. And in addition to that item, we would ask that item 4, we would add, unless otherwise required by state or federal regulations, there shall be no lighting on the tower. This tower at this height is not required for lighting as per FAA. However, in the future, if FAA changes regulations, so on and so forth, Duke Energy would like to reserve the ability to be able to place lighting on that tower. So that's all I have for you at this time.
All right, so I just wanted to make sure on the additions of 3 and 4, is that on, does that replace 3 and 4? Is that on the end of N3, or is that inserted?
It'll be the end 3 and 4 of this particular situation. We'll adjust those on the newly issued and recorded special use permit.
Say that one more time, because I just totally missed what you
So in your staff report, if you look at the special use conditions,
Okay.
items 1 and 2, we're going to add those as 3 and 4, so they're on the record. We'll adjust
Okay.
that with the actual special use
Okay,
permit when it's
all right.
recorded.
I got you. All right. Any other questions, better than mine to Mr. Newton? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, now I ask the applicant to come forward and present their case. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Amy Kraut. I'm an attorney at Smith Anderson. I'm here on behalf of Duke Energy this evening. We have a presentation that we sent in, if we could go through that. First, I always like to thank staff for working with us on this application. We turned it into a modification of the original special use permit. And so all I'm going to be doing tonight is just briefly going through the application and how it meets the 4 required special use standards, since this is a quasi judicial hearing. So we ask that our presentation, all application materials, and the impact study that we'll introduce into the record in a moment be introduced into the record for this hearing. So as Mr. Newton mentioned, this is about a 5.4 acre land with an existing substation. CP&L acquired this property in 1971, and it's been in use as a substation for approximately 50 years. In 2016, Duke wanted to expand the substation, so that's why it has the special use permit existing on it. So as I'll discuss in a little bit, the only change here is to add the telecommunication tower. We're not making any changes to the substation. So what is this cambium pole, and why is it a public necessity? It's not what you think of when you think of a typical wireless communication tower. It's not a 300-foot tower with a bunch of carriers. It's just 120-foot above-ground monopole with an attached wireless network device, and it's installed as part of Duke Energy's internal communication purposes. So it remotely monitors the substation and securely transmits data to and from substations. So it does promote the public health and safety and is a public necessity, as it really provides an essential communication function following major storms and offers a reliable platform for employees and Duke personnel to communicate messages, especially in the power restoration process. The 120 feet is needed because we need line of sight with other cambium poles. It's unmanned, so it will have no impact on traffic. And because it's needed to securely transmit data to and from substations, we don't allow any co-locations on the tower, which is why we've requested that one piece of relief. As it's located in the existing substation, it does conform to the general plans for the development and the county's planning jurisdiction, and is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan's goals to ensure that utility service provision is cost-effective and equitable, and improving emergency response by increasing reliability. Again, the only thing that we're changing here to the substation property is the installation of the pole. All other site features will remain the same. The pole's location complies with required setbacks. The pole is located over 150 feet from all property lines and about 300 feet away from the road. In terms of the monopole itself, again, it's 120 feet. The monopole design was chosen as the least intrusive and most aesthetic option. It will not be painted and will be constructed of galvanized steel, which conforms to the existing equipment in the substation. So it does comply with the use and intensity regulations of the LDC, and that's section 14247.0 of the code, which outlines the requirements for wireless telecommunication towers. Just so we kind of compare what's existing on the site to now, we are keeping all the existing special use conditions for the substation. Those includes conditions related to the site plan, dictates how the layout will be. All building structures must comply with federal, state, and local agencies, and includes landscape and buffering. So we do have on our landscaping notes that all the landscaping will remain the same, and it's deemed to meet all of the requirements of the code. And if for any reason it changes, we'll make sure we comply with any landscaping of the code. And then the four new special use conditions that staff went through, again, just allowing the communications tower. All other conditions that we just went through will remain the same, not subject to co-location for the reasons I stated earlier, and there will be no lighting on the tower. This was a request that staff made based on some neighbor comments, so we just said it's not required anyway, we don't plan to put lighting on it, so we'll go ahead and put it in a condition to make sure that it stays that way. Just wanted to provide a couple of quick photo simulations. We had to provide these with the application, but this gives you an idea of what the tower will look like in the substation. So this is the existing view from the north. There it is now, and as you can see, you can't even see the pole through the trees. Here's from the southeast. Again, far out in the background. Southwest, highlighted in red there, and then west is there along with all the existing utility poles and lines already. I would like to pass up an impact study we did. One of the special use standards is to prove that there will be no substantial injury to adjoining property or that it's a public necessity. While we take the position that this is a public necessity, we go the extra mile and provide an impact study. I have Mr. Kirkland here who did the appraisal and the impact study to talk about his findings, if I may pass it along.
If you would just give it to the deputy clerk. Jill.
Amy, can I ask you a question while you're passing that out? What kind of range do you have here as far as between communication stations? You know, you talk about line of sight.
Sure.
And this is data to, I guess, enhance the operation of the substation. How far does it reach?
Yeah, I have my engineer here who can answer
just
that
curious,
specific
it's not a-
question, but it does reach to all of our other communication poles that are in the line of sight.
Hi, Adam Jackson with Duke Energy. 20 miles is pretty typical. It depends on the power of the antenna, but we can usually shoot anywhere from 15 to 20 miles on the very far end.
Okay, thank you.
I'll bring up Mr. Kirkland.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Rich Kirkland, Kirkland Appraisals. I'm state certified general appraiser. Been appraising in this area for about 28 years now. I'm also an MAI through the Appraisal Institute, which is the highest accreditation they put out. I'm also licensed in about 15 states right now also where we do impact analysis across the country, but we worked in about 28 states at this point. We look at a wide range of different things, so we do impact studies on all kinds of different properties. But in this one, we looked at towers. In fact, it's hard to find towers this short. We looked at towers up to 300 feet in height. We looked at home sales around those. We even saw homes in